the Labrador flag, Mike Martin designed a flag, and in his own quote, Mike said it was never meant, and I think I sent it to you one day on a Twitter, never meant to be a separatist flag, but it was meant to be a positive of who we were and are and hope to be collectively, all races, religions, political parties. One of the key messages that we haven't heard anyone talking about here is the fact that the impetus for the flag, Paddy, it came about when the government of Newfoundland asked the citizens of the province, that was back in 73, asked the citizens to adopt a special project to commemorate the 25th anniversary of Newfoundland Labrador's confederation with Canada. That's when the flag came. So back then, same as today, we're understanding that we've got uniqueness in
back then it's not the same as today. It's fine, and it's important to realize the background and the backstory of the creation of the flag and why and what it meant. But what it means today might be totally different than what it meant 40 years ago or 25 years ago. So I think the conversation has changed. I think people's relation to the flag has changed. I think the symbolism of the flag has changed, and that's the important conversation here, isn't it?
No. It's good, Paddy, it's good to debate it all. I listened to a prior caller from Happy Valley, and it's important when people call your show to know that we're all calling with our own opinions. His opinion may not be representative of the majority, but we're entitled to our opinions.
But it might be representative of the majority, though. We don't know, right?
Well, I'm calling as a Labrador MHA. I'm sitting here this morning calling you from the Confederation building. Out in the parking lot, there's a little black Equinox proudly displaying a Labrador flag on both sides of the vehicle. That's mine. I can tell you, as someone who have traveled extensively in my district this summer from one end to the other, and in much of Labrador, the majority of the people that I have talked to, and the flag is coming up everywhere now because it is the 40th anniversary. I can tell you from the majority I've talked to, they want it flown as a pride, to celebrate our heritage and our culture. And there are a lot of differences. Do we feel left behind in a lot of areas? Absolutely. Do we have to catch up in infrastructure? Absolutely. We've got a PC leadership race on the go now. I heard tough questions being put to Davis, and he'll stumble and say, well, we got a lot of challenges. Labrador is sparsely populated. I've gone to Kent with issues. Well, you know, that's costing as much as it would on the island. Yes, it does. But, Paddy, sometimes, and I love this quote, to have true equity, you have to have the unequal treatment of equals. No, we haven't. We have not gotten back our share. I don't think they're all mingled together here for the majority. You would not believe, since I've been on your show a couple of times and on with Pete Soucy, how many people have contacted me from around the island. Where can I buy a flag? My people, my ancestors, went to Labrador for years. I would love to fly a flag and show that I support what you guys want to do. Not about separatism. Do we want to fly it to add to the unity of the province? Well, I never heard that, Paddy, but we want to fly it to show that there's some distinct differences. And I sat on the health board for all of Labrador for 8 years, and I guarantee you, even though I grew up in southeast Labrador, it wasn't until I sat on that health board for 8 years I understood the cultural differences, the Aboriginal groups. But this is something that we all come together on the one page about. It's not costing anything to do, and I believe that hopefully in time it's going to happen, Paddy. Let's look at Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Shetlands. They all proudly fly their own flag, but yet they're all a part of Great Britain. How is it any different here with what
we also have the European Union, and the Spaniards and the Greeks fly their flags too. I mean, I don't know if those analogies are on point or not, but to celebrate the unique nature and heritage and culture of Labrador is, I think, a completely worthwhile exercise, even if it includes the flying of a flag. But when people are expressing their symbolism of the flag that relates to creation of new territory, self-governance, or separatism, how can we not accept their opinion just like we're accepting yours or mine or anyone else's? If that's part of the conversation, it has to be part of the conversation. You can't push it aside because it doesn't jive with yours.
Paddy, that's fair. That's fair. Separatism, there's, you know, you're going to hear that in Labrador, and I outlined some of the reasons. When the House of Assembly is open and I'm traveling every weekend back and forth to the district, I've been on your show and I've invited you to come with me. It'll be hard for you to accept that you're in the same province. We're so far back. I hope we're moving in the right direction. I did hear the mayor of Lancelot talking about a tunnel. Absolutely, our caucus have supported. Dwight have said, let's do a complete study with a full cost analysis and assessment. Let's do it to see if doable. Let's stop talking about. Don't forget, Patty, and I can't help being political here. This, when the Liberals were in power the last time, we had around a $4 billion budget. Now it's almost $9 billion. We're talking about roads and catching up. Do we feel we're treated unfairly in a lot of ways? Absolutely we do. But I think this is somewhat of a separate issue. And if we're going to talk about separatism, I mean, all provinces would have to buy into that. All territories would have to buy into that. If not, what would we have to do? Civil war? Are we going there? I don't think we're going to civil war, Patty. And I didn't mean to get that deep this morning.
I don't think we are either, because, but then, that being said, we've also heard comments from Labrador leaders, whether or not elected or not, where they talk about defending the flag and stuff. We are going down a tricky road here. I don't think it's unmanageable or we can't navigate it, but it is. The conversation is getting away from it. I really, truly believe it is. So, anyway, we'll see out. And I don't know exactly what's going to change under any political stripe-led government. I don't know if the Liberals are going to make any difference in Labrador. I really don't. And I don't think anybody does quite yet. We'll have to see, because there's a long way between opposition and campaigning and electioneering than actually executing in government. That's not a slur. That's the realities of life, in my opinion. It's interesting when people talk about the tunnel, especially when you speak to an elected official. And this is not specifically about you, Lisa, but it's interesting that the person driving the bus and promoting the tunnel more forcefully than anybody else is Mr. Doomersk, who can't get as a Liberal. I find that interesting.
Well, I'm not taking up that conversation this morning. I can't tell you, but it's nice to end on a humorous note. But, Patty, I have met with senior people that's in government over there right now that believe that the tunnel is the right well.
Yep.
I believe that we would be further ahead in Labrador and as a province if there was more planning. A lot of this comes down to lack of planning. When I get on my ferry, such as it is, to go across the Strait of Belle Isle, they tell me that they have ordered 1,500 guides 3 times over 3 months, and it's August, and there's not a tourism guide on the boat. And then I go to the Bakeapple Festival and I speak, and somebody who's just come in through Labrador from the Lab West side is coming up saying, now that I know you're the member, I want to tell you how frustrating it's been. We haven't been able to get information about things to see and do. There's all kinds of problems, and Patty, I know that you often challenge us, and I love it. I welcome it and say, what would you do? I love it, but I'm going to tell you now, from what I've seen from where I sit, there's an awful lot of stuff can be improved upon that wouldn't take a whole lot of effort. But are we going to get comfortable with where we're going? Absolutely not. We're cautious, and we're just working hard every single day, and we're listening to the people. And people across the island, many of them support Labrador flying the flag, and the island are from Labrador. And Pat, at the end of the day, to sum it all up, it's about come home. Like, it's home. You're going to go in on the land, and you're going to have your boil up a tea. You're going to get out in the boat, and you're going to do the things you did growing up in Labrador. And that's what the flag is for us. And I know I've took time.
No, that's fine.
I appreciate
it's
it.
It's a good conversation, but Lisa, just last one, we'll leave it at this. Do you think the things you just said there about coming home and on the land and a cup of tea and a boil up and fishing and respecting the land and heritage and traditional culture, do you think that's very different from an awful lot of pockets of rural island Newfoundland? I mean, we have some really isolated communities. We have people with their own distinct way of life. We have distinct culture and dialect in different pockets of the province. Is it any different in these parts of Newfoundland, the island, than it is in Labrador? And how come we don't treat them any differently, and how come we don't talk about them in terms of their uniqueness and flags represent them and all that kind of stuff? I think that's a serious question. That's why I ask.
I'm talking about people coming home to the land where they grew up, and the flag is what they identify with: the red, the white, the blue, water, the forest, the twigs representing the Aboriginal groups. It's where we feel inclusive. Are there places on the island you can do that, and are there places on the island where people want to go back to the little cove they grew up? Absolutely, Patty. At the end of the day, life is all about, the places you've been, the people you've met, the memories you've made along the way. The rest of it, we're just working for a living, right? That's what it's all about. But Labrador is a big land, and we have issues, but we have lots there to celebrate. We're not all on the same page with every issue, but I can tell you we are with this, and I, for one, can't wait. I hope to be there when the flag is raised. Is it going to be a symbol of separatism? In my opinion, and I can speak for a lot of people in Labrador, no, I don't think it is. I think it's about celebrating that we are a little bit different, a little bit unique in the big...
Appreciate your time as always, and always enjoy the conversation, Lisa. Take care. Stay in touch.
Patty, you have a fantastic day.
And the same to you.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.